Nosur sa ko tour dia turista nanta bisita Aruba, itabay back ko Aruba din ng kurasong. Un caminda unda ku e visitante ng Akita uni ita forma un comunidad junto tariba e Facebook group Aruba wa warta contando com mais que 52,000 usuários. Awa nós conversando com persona mais especial ta un dia administrador ng dia grupo aqui me papiando de Charles Asch. Charles, thank you so much for joining us today and you know, to share about this beautiful group. Now let's talk about, you know, you and your visits to Aruba. How long have you been visiting Aruba for?
I think this is our 16th year.
So let's talk about your first visit. What was it like?
It was a last-minute 5-day getaway with some friends of ours that said, we're going, and would you like to join us? And my wife was pregnant with our first child. And we thought, sure, we made it work. And so it was just 2 couples, before children, and relatively newly married. You know, I think married for 4 years almost. Married 2 years, 2 or 3 years at that point. And that was our first experience.
What was it like?
You know, so it was, you know, where did we stay? We stayed at the Sheraton.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, it was, we checked in and there was already problems with our reservation because there had been a power failure the previous year. So all of the reservations had been wiped out. So people that were checking in, there was no records of their reservations. So the first night we were put a couple of doors down at another resort and then brought back to the Sheraton. So it was a little stressful at first, but we didn't take long before, you know, we fell in love with the island, and then ended up going down to the surf club and had a tour. And so we were lured to the surf club. Oh, you know what? I think that was our second visit. I think we loved the island so much we came back the following year after we had our child. So Lexi was 6 months old. And so Lexi, we would shut the lights off in the hotel room because we needed our kid to go to sleep at night and keep on a normal routine. And so sitting in a dark hotel room at 8 o'clock at night wasn't fun. So we ended up going down to the surf club, having a tour, and we saw these big 2-bedroom units, and we fell in love with the property, but we were very confused how all of these people, year after year, would come to Aruba, because I grew up with my family going to different Caribbean islands. And so every year my family and I would go to one island. It was never the same 2 islands. So why would somebody want to come to a place year after year when there's so many destinations to visit? So I was confused, I'll be honest.
But after that, you became a repeat visitor. How did that happen?
You know, so many things we loved about Aruba. 1, it's an easy flight from the Northeast. 2, it's incredibly safe. 3, it's guaranteed weather. You know, and the nice breeze, you know, took away whatever bugs there were and stopped us from melting from the sun. You know, it just, and the people, you know, I really should have started with the people, to be quite honest. So ignore the order that I said it. But you know, everyone's so welcoming and kind and friendly and gentle, and so I think the combination of all those things really had an impact on us.
That's so nice. Now, did you keep track on how many visits you've made since 16 years ago?
Yeah, so I think with the exception of last year missing 2 visits, we missed 2019 because we went overseas, and 2016 we skipped, went to another location. But there's some years that we came twice in the year. You know what, we could be our 14th, 15th time in 16 years.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. So going from, you know, I don't know how somebody would visit the same place year after year to coming here for about 14 times. That's so nice. Now let's talk a little bit about the Facebook group Aruba.
Yes.
So I understand you didn't start it. However, do you have some information on how this group started?
So a family of regulars, that would come down apparently, and the father was coming down for probably the last 30 years, and his daughter, I guess, like my kids, grew up on the island and fell in love and decided to start a Facebook group. And as life can get in the way sometimes, it wasn't a priority to run the group, and somehow being in the group, somebody asked me if I was interested in helping become an administrator, and it was a very large. It was a group of probably 7,000 people, which at the time for me was overwhelming, and I felt a lot of pressure, but I was up for it and willing to contribute any way I could.
So you were part of the group, and then how did you become the administrator? Where did that come from?
So I think somebody wanted to step down, and as a result, somebody was asked to become an administrator, and that individual said, I know somebody else that would be perfect for the job, and asked me if I was interested. So I said, sure. I kind of felt like it was an honor to be part of what at the time felt like a big group, even though it was, only in the thousands. It wasn't huge, but still at the time seemed like a big deal to me.
Now we're counting to I think 52,000 members right now.
52,300.
Oh man, that's fantastic.
Honestly, as big as the group is, it doesn't feel that way, and only for a short time was the numbers important to me. I was counting and how big the group was. For me, it's quality, not quantity. So I'd rather have 53,000 nice members over 100,000 where half of them aren't so nice. So.
And so far, they're all nice.
Well, listen, for the most part, when you're sitting behind a computer screen and you have the anonymity of not looking somebody eye to eye, face to face, it's easy to become, as we call them, a keyboard warrior. But we have very little tolerance for bad behavior.
Let's talk a little bit about that, about the tasks of an administrator. You said before that, somebody felt like it was too much or it became too much, wanted to step down. What is life like as an administrator of such a big Facebook group? What do you do?
Well, it's not half as stressful as it once was, and that's thanks to the tools that Facebook offers us. So, pre-pandemic, I would wake up in the morning to people fighting and people cursing, and it was ugly. And as soon as the pandemic hit, I turned on post approvals, and so I could view everything, and then they allowed us to put in what they call keywords. So there's specific words that generally are hot topics and problematic. So I enter those words and keywords, and I get notifications anytime somebody in our group uses one of those words. Okay. And so we keep a lot of things out of the group. Politics is one of them, and so it's been over the past handful of years been a challenging time, and so the group. Primary focus is the island, and personal political views have no place in our group. Hate, there's no place for any of this. So it's all about members helping members. We want genuinely kind, helpful people. And so, I think Facebook tools has allowed me to sleep better at night and to manage the group and to make it a nice quality group for everybody and enjoyable.
Is it a lot of work?
Not as much as my wife used to think, because I also run a surf club group, and so I'm an early riser. So at 5 a.m. I could schedule posts. So all day long, so if at 5 a.m. I could schedule 5, 6, 7 posts and stagger them. So every hour a new post may come up, and so people think I'm sitting at the computer posting hour after hour after hour, when really that's not the case. So again, thanks to the tools, it enables me to do a whole bunch of stuff early in the morning, kind of step back and follow anything I need to with notifications. And I approve all the members to try and keep spammers. We want the right people in the group, that have genuine interest and love of Aruba, either repeat visitors, timeshare owners, first-timers, long-timers, that want to learn, want to help others, want to contribute to, want to learn about the culture. It's really a group to help each other.
Do you feel like it has created, a community of Aruba lovers and bringing people together because of the group?
Yeah, absolutely. We share a common bond, and that's the love of Aruba. And, so what really happened as the pandemic hit last year was a lot of fear, for everybody, for many reasons. And the group took on, or both of my primary groups took on a different life for me. And it went from sharing specific type of information to immediately wanting to give back to the island and the locals and the business and help the economy. And so the only way to really describe it is, for years, the island has given so much, and the people, to me and my family. And, and it's tough to really put it into words. And as soon as the island shut down, and listen, we're suffering at home back in the States and around the world, but there's something special about Aruba, and I felt that if I had any ability, I don't like the word influence, but because there's so many people in the group, that if I could help and make a difference and get the word out, I encouraged local artists to stream live. I encouraged local businesses to advertise, and I never would allow advertising. That was taboo. So certain things that were completely off limits, now I encouraged, because it was a way to help and give back. And I felt, with what the island, the people have done for me and my family and thousands of others over the years, it was a small way of repaying and showing some gratitude.
That's beautiful, because it started, as a way to help other Aruba lovers get around, but now it's also a way to help Aruba in return, and that's beautiful. And, we were really thankful for that. It's a group that a lot of not only visitors love right now, but we have a lot of Arubans too that are part of this group. And it's beautiful because, it's a beautiful community that you guys are, encouraging right now. So what would you say would be, the most memorable thing that this group has done?
Wow. What I really take a lot of pride in over the last year is, there's so much misinformation out there, and the primary goal lately has been to make sure that everyone has the right information and updates that are timely and factual. And so between the locals that need to get that information, whether it's vaccine updates or just anything, in terms of whatever the guidelines and restrictions are for the locals and for the tourists, and helping the tourists that are regulars and didn't know what forms to fill out. And the same with me, I'm helping others do this for the last year, and all of a sudden, a week ago, I'm in the same position of finally filling out these ED documents online, uploading everything, having to print out and you know what? I got to tell you, it couldn't be any easier. And the most stressful part for me was testing 3 days before, making sure that I was going to get that green check mark. And once I had that Friday afternoon, I'll tell you, I was walking on a cloud. So, really, it's about getting information and helping others. So, there's so many memorable things. And we get a lot of the same questions, over the years, is can I bring food onto the island? Or palapas, do I have to line up early? There's certain things, the same restaurant questions, the same rental car questions, but you know what, it doesn't matter. I learn how to scroll by, I encourage others to scroll by. If you don't like it, so what? There's so many people that are new, need this information, and again, the whole reason for the group is to help others and to give back.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing your story with us. And, for doing this too, I'm going to give you the space to, send a message, a word of gratitude, or, a message to all of the members that follow the group.
Listen, and I'll repeat what I just said in terms of, it's real important. If you don't feel safe to travel now, I certainly respect and understand that. Everyone is in a different position. But for those of you that are on the fence thinking about coming, I can't say how safe I feel. I live in New York. New York was in the worst position in the world a year ago. And thanks to doing the right things, is one of the safest places to be. And I'll be honest, I couldn't feel any safer in Aruba. And I'm only as safe as I wanted to keep myself. And, the island needs us. And, I couldn't be happy. I feel blessed. I feel honored to be here. And so for any of you on the fence, there's nothing to be afraid of. And if you're not comfortable, then Aruba will be here waiting for you when you're ready.
Now, Charles, I understand that, the group has a team of administrators. It's not just you. But do you have anything to say to these administrators, that help you and that together handle this group?
Well, it really is a team. And without Candy and, well, that's her nickname, Candy, but Karen and Ralph, that, the group wouldn't be half of what it is. So people may know my name primarily based on the volume of posts and comments that I may make, but really I'm just one person and part of the team that makes the group as great as it is.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us today, Charles, and to, share the story of the Aruba group that became so famous on Facebook. And let's just hope that this group keeps on growing and that we can unite more Aruba lovers through the Facebook group.
That's the plan. Thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Charles. Now, eseta bata Charles Asch, administrador ng Facebook group Aruba, contando con más de 52,000 miembros. Uni pa ng Amor pa Aruba.